We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you. Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, where we transform everyday leadership struggles into powerful legacies that impact generations. I'm your host, Chanie Wilschanski, a 20-year veteran of school leadership who has helped hundreds of school leaders achieve what many thought was impossible through our signature programs, School Leadership HQ and Enrollment Engine. With our battle-tested frameworks and blueprints, leaders have achieved 90% parent retention, 50% less staff turnover, 15% improved profit margins, and increased enrollment by 25%. My mission is simple: to revolutionize school leadership by elevating the skills, the habits, and mindset of passionate leaders ready to create lasting change. Join me as we build your legacy of excellence, one transformative conversation at a time. Welcome back to the Schools of Excellence podcast. Excited to be here and continue our Money Leaks series together. And today we're talking about food control. Now, I don't just mean snacks and lunches for the kids. I'm talking about all of it. Staff meals, coffee for professional development days, pizza for meetings, Friday treats, thank you Uber Eats orders. They all feel really small, but it consistently adds up really, really fast. And the thing that I want to really invite you into today is that you don't have a food budget problem. You have a food system problem because you're really generous. You want to take care of your people, but without a system and guardrails, that generosity will leak your profit and turn your leadership into a lot of guesswork. And it kind of ends up working against you. So the thing is that when most leaders hear the word food control, they think about cutting costs, and that's actually not what it is. Today's conversation is about awareness because you cannot lead what you don't track. So the first step in food control, and again, in our diagnostic, schoolsofexcellence.com/moneyleaks, you can actually assess where your school is in this money leak. The first step that you're taking when you're trying to get an awareness of food control is to build your baseline. Now, a lot of times people have no idea what their baseline is, or they try and they go back and it's too complicated in QuickBooks. Super simple. Review your last 3 months of food receipts, okay? And look at it from the lens of, am I looking at my last 3 months of food receipts from the context of snacks, snack events, just Uber Eats orders? Like, what am I actually looking at, okay? Now, when I invited a client to do this on a coaching call, I said, I'm really curious, like in your last 5 staff meetings that you did, how much do you think each staff meeting costed? And she's like, well, we serve pizza. So I don't know, it's about like $150. And I was like, pizza for 30 people, not $150. Anyways, turns out that plates, salads, drinks, and all of that is also part of a pizza meeting. And 5 meetings was actually not $750 that she thought it was $2,000, more than double, almost triple the amount that she thought. Now, she's not a careless leader, and she's actually really smart. She just wasn't tracking, okay? And once she had the facts with her baseline, she can walk into a budget conversation really, really confident. We had another client that was trying to create a budget for staff food treats and stuff like that. And she went to the accountant or financial person, and she said, I'd like a budget, please, for teacher treats. And the person who was in charge of the financials said, just spend as little as you can. And she came to me and she's like, I don't even know what to do with that information. Like, and I was like, that's not a budget, right? Spend as little as you can is not a budget. I need a number. A budget has a number connected to it. So I said, listen, look at your last 6 months of receipts of what you spent on teacher food gifts, and then come to them and say, here's our baseline. In the last 6 months, here's what we spent. Given inflation, I'd like X amount of money for the food budget. And what was great is now she came with data. And when you come with data, it's very difficult to kind of not negotiate, or because you can always negotiate or have a conversation. And wasn't the point. The point wasn't to be like, gotcha. It was just like, hey, I have information. I'd like a budget. So that was a great conversation. Okay. So step one is build your baseline. Step two, you need to create a seasonal rhythm. Okay. Food budgets aren't fixed spreadsheets. Okay. A food budget is a living system. Okay. Why? Your grocery list in August is not the same as December, because enrollment will shift, staffing will shift, even cultural rhythms will shift, right? We had a client who was trying to figure out the seasonal rhythm of their food once they took this money leaks diagnostic, and she started tracking how much food was left over in each of the classrooms every single day. And once she did that, that small awareness helped them adjust the menus, reduce waste, and save hundreds of dollars. It was like unbelievable. Another thing when it comes to seasonal rhythms is understanding like how bulk ordering works. Like seasonal purchases and seasonal things are like really, really, really tricky because like they're so sneaky in that way, in the way that it kind of comes in. So for example, you can order something in bulk in the beginning of the year and it can last the whole year. But like you can't order apples in September for, the fall patch or whatever it is and be like, oh, by the way, in May, during the Mother's Day breakfast, we're also going to want to use apples. So just like order a lot because we'll use those apples. The apples in September ain't lasting you all the way to May. Like you can't bulk order apples. Like we're not doing that, right? And you know that. If you're listening that you can't order apples 6 months in advance, right? So that's what I mean by seasonality. Okay. Step one, build your baseline. Step two, create a seasonal rhythm. Step three, plan for the people you actually have. When it comes to food control and food budgets, right? And kind of this rhythm, you have to know how many people are there, right? So if you have a classroom with 9 children, and then that enrollment literally doubles almost to 14 kids, the amount of money that you've been spending on that classroom for food is going to shift. You can't make a budget in the beginning of the year for food and say, now this is the budget for the whole year. Your enrollment's going to shift. I hope it does. I hope it goes up, right? I hope you get even fuller. Like there are certain things that you actually even hope change, right? Especially if all the classrooms are not even full, right? Staffing changes, things shift. And so you want to plan for the people that you actually have. That's as far as enrollment goes. When it comes to staffing and food, know the team's allergies, sensitivities, and preferences before you order. Like I remember I once went to a staff meeting where I was doing a workshop at a staff event. Anyways, there were about 25 teachers there or something like that. And she had ordered pasta for 25 people. So there were 3 full trays of pasta. Okay. Of the 25 teachers that were there, 20 of them were gluten-free. 20 of them, either gluten sensitivity or actually gluten-free or whatever it is. And I'm looking at this table and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there are a total of 5 humans who eat pasta and there are 3 ginormous trays of pasta, right? Like the 5 of them finished a half a tray together. So 2.5 trays were extra. And again, this is something so important because whenever I bring this up, like people are like, oh, but I don't want to be stingy. And that's not what this is. I am like the least stingiest person. When people come to my house, people come to my events, I always want there to be an abundance. I want there to be an overflow. I want there to be so much food. No one's allowed to leave hungry, right? You're full in your belly, you're full in your mind, your soul, everything. But there's a difference between this indulgence of just like extra, extra, extra. And then there's like intentional ordering. And again, it's not from the perspective of being stingy. It's being intentional about what you're doing. So that's another layer of the food control. Okay. So we spoke so far about step 1, which is build your baseline. Step 2, create a seasonal rhythm. Step 3, plan for the people you actually have. Okay. And so what I want to invite you here is really to look at it from the perspective of like, you deserve to be generous without being drained. Okay. Your team deserves appreciation that's planned, that's intentional. The children deserve meals that you don't have to panic over the budget. Okay. That's why I created the Money Leaks Diagnostic, schoolsofexcellence.com/moneyleaks. So what is this next step you could do today? Okay. Your next move, review your last 3 months of receipts and create your baseline. Okay. Then I want you to set a monthly target for each category, whether that's snacks, meals, staff events, set that target. And then schedule a 60-day review in your calendar. In 60 days from now, in your calendar, it says review the last 3 months or the last 60 days of the receipts. And then you adjust based on waste, based on enrollment, based on staffing changes. It's a consistent financial rhythm that you will consistently come back to. So I hope this gave you clarity. And really, more than anything, I hope this gives you information and data to understand that, like, sometimes you don't need to make giant cuts or any of that to create more profit inside of your business. Sometimes simple food management is such a powerful way to be able to start to get better control of your financials. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you continue to stay subscribed and connected as we continue through our Money Leaks series. Thank you.
If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do 2 things for me. 1, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And 2, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week. And I appreciate that you have joined us.
If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.